You may be seated, please. Ladies and gentlemen, we just witnessed the arrival of His Excellency. Once again, you are welcome to this edition of the monthly media chat. Governor Alex Otti Speaks to Abians. I did remind you of the need to ensure absolute decorum. Please ensure your phones are on silent mode. And I did tell you that if you are generous enough and would want to help us increase our IGR, then allow your phone to ring out. Once again, you are welcome. At this point, I will be handing over the microphones to the moderators, while His Excellency carries out his opening remarks. You're welcome.
Good evening, Abians. Good evening, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen of the press. Before we start with the engagement, I'd like us to observe a minute's silence in honor of one of our ESCO members, Comrade Sonny Ouma, who passed on recently. May his soul and the souls of other faithfully departed rest in the bosom of the Lord. Amen.
Good evening, Your Excellency. We're glad to be here with you today. We're happy that you've given us the opportunity to always be here with you every month. And truly, I must commend you for having kept this consistent. Like I said, I must commend you for making it consistent, because ever since inception, it has not stopped. You've not stopped holding it. So thank you, Your Excellency. My name is Vivian Chima. I represent Family Love FM, Omar here, and my colleague.
And I am Moses Ben, representing Rapid FM, Omar here.
Okay, so we have media houses involved in this, and we'll be reading them out. My colleague will take the first 7.
Right, joining us on this Governor Alex Speaks to Abians, we have media outlets, BCA 88.1 FM. Flow 94.9 FM, Family Love 99.9 FM, Magic 102.9 FM, Vision Africa 104.1 FM, Real FM 99.1, Sun FM 91.3 Ibere.
We also have Sun FM 91.9 Aba, Zik 96.3 FM, Spin 95.3 FM, Rapid 96.5 FM, Pacesetter 103.5 FM, Buzz 89.7 FM, and also we'll stream this live on major online platforms. So my distinguished colleagues, you're all welcome to this month's edition of Governor Alex Otti Speaks to Abians. We know how we do this. We organize ourselves decently and by arrangements. Just like the special advisor to the governor has said, we need to reiterate, streamline your questions, prioritize your questions, 2 minutes maximum, and just a question from an individual. So.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please at this point, let's welcome the Executive Governor of Abia State as he welcomes everybody at this moment. Your Excellency, Please, you may take the floor.
All right, thank you, moderators. Once again, welcome to this chat, the March edition. Very happy that we have a lot of our compatriots joining us, both here and remotely. It has been another month of activities, and this is specifically referring to the month of February that just passed. So I'll just take a few items, talk briefly about them, and then turn the microphone over to the moderators so that we can take your questions. In the area of health, which is a priority to this government, we've continued to push the frontiers. Before the end of last year, we flagged off the Project Epueme, 200 primary health care centers scattered in the 184 wards. There was no ward that didn't get at least one health center, and a few wards got more than one. The work is going on very well. Yesterday, the Honorable Commissioner for Health shared with me some videos and photographs of some of the primary health care centers that have been completed. I think about 5 of them from different places, and several others that are nearing completion. The videos I saw were very good, but I've also directed that we go to the next stage, which is to equip them properly. This is being funded 100% by the state government. There are another 67 primary healthcare centers, like we had explained, that is being done by World Bank. So if all of them are completed, 267 out of the 948 primary health care centers in Abia would have been upgraded to modern primary health care centers. In the area of secondary health care centers, we also, like I had announced earlier, we have upgraded the Umunnato General Hospital to a specialist hospital, and work has commenced. The whole idea is to have a secondary health care center, a specialist health care center as a reference center in Abia North, just like there is one in Umuahia and one in Aba. So if there are issues that cannot be handled by the primary and secondary, then the specialists will be called in to do them. As we deal with Umunnato, we're also dealing with the Okualangwa, Obingwa, and I think Okwa general hospitals. We also have recently started the second phase of upgrading the Abia State University Teaching Hospital. You will recall that towards the end of 2023, after we had spent about 7 months had put everything into getting back our university teaching hospital in Aba, which had lost accreditation, I believe, from 2021. So, and we were able to restore the accreditation before the end of 2023. And we considered that like a fire brigade solution. We just needed the university to regain its accreditation. And we did say that the next thing will be now to fix the other parts of the hospital. And I believe last week, the contractor took over the job. And I believe that before the end of this year, it will be handed over to the state government. We are glad that it wasn't just the accreditation that was restored, but we also have gotten more elbow room to train professionals in our state university teaching hospital. On education, another area we declared an emergency in 2023. We continue to push hard. The reality is that what we met on the ground was very, very poor. I think poor is an understatement. But again, in our character, we don't believe in complaining. We just deal with the work. So we are trying to retrieve our schools from decay. And some of the schools are still in very terrible shape. But renovations and retrofitting continue. I think we identified 221 very bad cases that we have to deal with first. And I think there was a school in Item that was not one of the 221 that I saw the video, and despite the Honorable Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education too, and they immediately started work on that. So if we add that to the 221, that would be 222. The level of work to be done in many of those schools is enormous. So what we have decided is to take the very, very critical cases, like when you have schools that have leaking roofs, when you have schools that don't have desks, when you have schools that are overgrown by weeds and snakes are threatening the students. We need to deal with those, fence them, de-roof and re-roof. You know, emergency work to ensure that our students have a comfortable place to learn. And that has continued. Beyond infrastructure, you would have noticed that we launched the Abia First educational reform program within the month. We believed that we needed to also pay attention to the curricula, modernize them, ensure that they speak the language of the 21st century, where people are talking about artificial intelligence, robotics, 3D printing, driverless cars, and the rest of them. So if you are teaching your children pinhole camera in 2025, you are preparing them not to compete. And that was the reason why we thought we should also pay attention to the curricula. What are our teachers teaching our children? And by the way, who are our teachers? What do they know? And that takes us to the other issue of upscaling the teachers, ensuring that they are trained and retrained. Of course, we had done the first heavy lifting, which was to introduce a discriminatory compensation package for our teachers and make teaching attractive once again. And that has continued to pay off because as we introduced free and compulsory education at the beginning of this year, we saw an upsurge in registrations. In fact, a lot of schools were overwhelmed, and we thought that the right thing to do would be to recruit additional teachers who will teach the additional students that have enrolled in our schools. Of course, we did know that even at the level that we were operating before, there was still very high level of inadequacy in terms of the numbers and, of course, skills of the teachers. We therefore also thought we should recruit more teachers, and we opened a portal where applicants who were interested could apply. And by the time the portal was shut down, we had close to 30,000 applications. We tried to look at the applications, and we found over 9,000 qualified applicants who we intend to take through a computer-based test. We started with a number of 2,500, but we have since increased that to 5,000. It may even be further increased. So by the time the tests happen and the interviews happen, if we have more people applying, we put them on wait list. And as we deploy the teachers, if we have room for additional teachers, we'll come back to the pool of wait-listed applicants. The whole idea is to also create jobs for qualified Abians and those living in Abia. As we also ensure that we have enough teachers for our students who are eager to learn. We continue our work in the area of infrastructure, particularly road. And within the month of February, we flagged off the Omenoko Bridge reconstruction, which was well received by people from that axis. We are in Isochi, Umunochi local government, to flag off the Mbala Ngodo road, which also was well received by people from around Umunochi. Next week, we will also be flagging off a road, I think the Owaza road in Okwa West. Work has started after the flag off, or even before the flag off of the Owerenta Omeka route. And of course, if you've been following what's happening in the media, particularly the social media, you will see that Julius Beja is working very hard to complete the Port Harcourt Road, and I believe that it should be ready for commissioning before the 29th of May. The Ohanku Road, I received a call from a traditional ruler just as I was coming here, who is from Ugunabo, and he expressed a lot of excitement about the quality of the road going on in Ohanku, the quality of construction going on Ohang Road. We are using rigid pavement technology. According to him, it's like building decking on the road. The whole idea is that you don't want to return to that road with stories anytime soon. The contractors tell us that before anybody can do anything on that road, it will probably be 50 years from today because of the quality. And I also received somebody that comes from around there yesterday, and he also gave the same report. If you have time, you can also go and look at what we are doing there. We have also started resurfacing and beautifying the Abowere Road in Aba, which is a major entry into Aba from either Port Harcourt, Umuahia, or Were. We believe that before the end of this year, it will be a new Abowere Road that depicts what we stand for in this government. So as you enter Aba, as you enter Umuahia, you will know you are entering a new city. As I was coming here minutes ago, I found that the contractors on the Library Avenue, we are still working even by this time. I was happy that the commitment they are showing on this job, it means a lot. We believe that before the end of this month, that the rebuilding and the expansion of that road all the way to FMC will be completed. And of course, we'll continue as we do these roads, we also lighten them up. And so it's a major project to light up our cities. Even if nothing is happening at night, just have the place lit up. It improves the aesthetics and, of course, security of the place. So we'll continue with our Light Up Abia project in different parts of the state. We distributed a lot of transformers to different communities, close to 60 at the last count, and we'll continue to ensure that whenever there is power, that our people will not be in darkness just because of faulty transformer or faulty substation. In Aba, I'm told the Aba Power has continued to improve supply of power to different parts of Aba. I understand there are two areas, Obo Hill and I think Factory Road, where they are building new substations. The last time I checked, that of Factory Road was around 95% completion. So I believe that by now it would have been completed, and once it is done, they will switch on up to Aba Power and have permanent or at least 22 hours power supply. We continue our engagement with Interstate Electric, the owners of 60% of EEDC. We intend to acquire the Umuahia ring fence. We intend to ring fence Umuahia all the way to Umunochi, then Isikwato, then Arochukwu, and that would include Onhafia and Bende. Of course, the whole of Umuahia and Iguano will also be part of it. And the whole idea is for us to have control and possibly eventually offload to the private sector. but we believe that at full capacity of 188 megawatts, Aba Power should be able to wheel excess power into Umuahia. That's the vision. And within the month, the consultants that we hired came to submit their report to me, their due diligence and valuation report. So that I have received. And those consultants include Afrexim Bank in Cairo, Egypt, and of course the consultants, the accounting firm that we also hired from Lagos. So they were all here. And the transaction is looking good, it's looking doable, and in no time we will take a decision on the direction to go. And the whole idea is just to ensure that we have some stability in power supply. It's our conviction that if you don't get power supply right, you may struggle with virtually every other thing. There are some manufacturers in Aba particularly who tell me that 60 to 70% of their cost of production is in energy. Just imagine if you solve that problem and reduce their cost of production. You've given them wings to fly, and you've made their products competitive. Why does China take advantage? Because they have the population and they have infrastructure. If you visit China, you will understand. And of course, they have support from their government. So we want to, if you are not competitive, you cannot sell your goods. And that is the truth. So that's why we are paying so much attention to power. In terms of security, we continue to thank God that we are able to have a relative peace in the state. Of course, once in a while there will be stories of breach of security in sporadic places in the state. But anytime we believe that it is better to predict and preempt them, and to also turn on full intelligence so that we can nip such attacks in the bud. And we've been successful in doing that. But of course, once in a while, you hear of cases of sporadic attacks in some places, but we also rise to the occasion. We will not rest on our oars. Whatever it takes, we believe that security is a top priority, not just for us in Abia, but everywhere. Because if you cannot sleep with your two eyes closed, then you cannot even do anything. So we continue with that. So recently we've had an upsurge of investors and diplomatic visits. We received the Consul General of Germany with his wife within the week. UNDP was here. The ambassador to Vietnam was also here, and a whole lot of other diplomatic visitors who are looking at ways to partner with the states. And we are also open to those partnerships. Some of them in agriculture, others in the area of health, in education, in trade and commerce, industry, and people. Actually, the Vietnamese ambassador was interested in about exam, and he was taken there. So it's been, I would say, all told, it's been good news in the state. We are not where we want to be yet, but we are definitely not where we were before now. So I will continue to plead that everyone gives support to the government, which, by the way, you brought to power, which reports to you, and we can guarantee that this is just 21 months. The next 21 months and more will also be marked with activities and more activities. So I don't want to be the only one speaking. I would like to turn the microphone over to the moderators so they can now take your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Abia State, Dr. Alex Otti OFR. You've spoken to us. It's time for distinguished colleagues for us to have our input, our takes. Yes, you know how we do these things. You ask your questions, and we have 3 slots per unit. We have the print, we have online, we have TV, we have radio. And we'll be starting off with the prints. So, who goes first? Okay, Chief Obinna, you can ask your question.
Your Excellency, good evening, sir. Your Excellency, let me start by thanking you for the giant strides recorded in your government so far. Yesterday, we were at the glaucoma week, where we were taught how to take care of our eye, just like we were last year. We were meant to understand that if you don't take care of your eye, glaucoma is irreversible if you don't take your eye. Now, the awareness created so far has made Abians here and there to indicate their intention to participate in the ongoing screening exercise which will take place between 12th and 15th. Your Excellency, as the media people, will be going around and seeing what you'll be doing. You know, a whole lot of projects. But what Abia keep asking is that, where is His Excellency getting money to embark on these gingertic signature projects here and there that is making the opposition party to be in confusion ahead of 2027? Thank you very much.
Okay.
All right, the next question will be coming from, please let's manage the time. You have 2 minutes to put up your question. I've seen somebody behind.
The print still. Okay.
Steve Oko, please.
Steve Oko, go ahead.
Thank you very much for this time. Quickly, this is not actually the chairman, let me add a follow-up to his question. Going by what you were told yesterday, Your Excellency, there were these very startling statistics from the hospitals that Abia recorded an average of 50 patients who had glaucoma in 2024 from January to December. And for me, it is something that is very serious. When is His Excellency going to declare state of emergency on glaucoma in Abia State before we all go blind? And Your Excellency, my main question is this. A lot of Abians are getting worried. One, they believe you've sacrificed so much. You began by doing so many things all at the same time. But this is the government house where the governor of Abia State is expected to reside. And your presence in this place will make it the government house it should be. And they've discovered that for almost 2 years, you've been working for them. And they are saying, when is Excellency going to make this place a place where the governor of Abia State can be located? Because even for us press people, we've been reduced to writing press statements because some of the times we are not.
Thank you. The next person. Thank you.
Right, please let's hand over the microphone to
last
Ugwaja of the Guardian, and then we close.
Excellency Udaja, Guardian. In separation of powers, the executive, the judiciary, and the legislature. Every year, there's budget presentation, and approval is given. When that happens, it implies that every arm of the government becomes autonomous, including financial autonomy. If this is right, I still hear that you bought a vehicle for judiciary, you buy for legislature. If that is so, will it be said that there is autonomy in the arms of government? Thank you.
Thank you very much, the Guardian. Next is, okay, now, yeah, go ahead, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Let me start with Chief Obinna. You talked about the glaucoma week, and interestingly, the person that called me this evening said his wife, traditionally, that the wife can't see anymore, and that she had glaucoma. So I had shared the number of the head of eye health to see if she can restore the sight. Before now, not too many people paid attention to it. In fact, I remember that growing up here, when somebody comes down with glaucoma, they begin to look for a neighbor who did it. But I think information and knowledge is power. Checking is what we have to do. Answering the A part of Steve's question, we don't have to declare a state of emergency on glaucoma because we have already declared a state of emergency on health. And glaucoma also speaks to health. So everything about health is a priority for this government. Where is the money coming from? I keep getting this question, and my response has always been that that is my trade secret, my own automobile. And you don't want me to disclose my trade secret. It's called financial engineering. I don't know if that makes sense to you. So when you are able to plan, and then you are also able to encash your goodwill. You know, you have a track record that people believe that what you say you will do. Okay? So I'm able to call Julius Beja and say, start work, without giving them a dime. At least I'm not the one saying this. The former managing director who left December 1, when he was introducing his successor to me. He brought him to Abia here and confessed that this was the first time since the 60s that a state government would hire them, get them to flag off a road, and then get them to mobilize to site and start work without receiving a dime. Then he added that the payment schedule I gave them, that I didn't only keep to it, but I did it faster and paid them more than what we agreed in 3-4 months. So that is what track record does. So tomorrow if I call them and say, go and start another job, I'm sure they will be willing to do that. So other than that, the rest is my own automobile that you have to live with me. Thank you. Well, thank you for the positive comments. Now, going back to the big question that Steve asked. Well, thank you, first of all, for the kind words. Yes, we don't have time. We're in a hurry. So we have to do so many things at the same time. And before you know it, 4 years is over. And you'll be wondering what happened. And that's why, even before we were sworn in, we brought Julius Berger to Port Harcourt Road. And they started designing. Some people didn't understand what we were doing. They thought we were in a hurry to take over. And but then we wanted to ensure that we bought time. And thank God we did. You are worried that I'm not operating from here. I don't think you should worry about that. The important thing is that I'm operating. And you should be, Abians want to see activity, not where the governor is staying. Having said that, it does not mean that I'm not interested in coming here. You know, there's something called scale of preference. If you don't plan your activities very well, you can start with unimportant things or things that are of less importance. So when I came, I told you the things that were important to me, ensuring that we have infrastructure in Aba, Umuahia, and other towns or other local governments in Abia. Ensuring that Aba and Umuahia particularly were kept clean on a 24-hour, 7 days a week basis. Ensuring that our people have good hospitals to go to. Also ensuring that our schools are fixed. Those were the areas that I declared emergency. I didn't declare emergency on government house and where the governor will live. So, and you know, resources are scarce if you don't allocate them properly. In fact, those who are students of economics, like myself, economics is all about allocating scarce resources. So you have scarce resources, you need to allocate them to the areas that are of paramount importance. And when you finish with those, you can now come to other areas. Where I live is not as important as having roots in Aba and Umuahia. Not as important as securing everybody in Abia. It's not as important as ensuring that our students go to school free of charge and they must go. So what the issue is that this government house is important, but it's not as important as some of those things that I had mentioned earlier. But I can assure you that in no distant time, since we have taken care of those, or we are taking care of those important areas, we'll come here and fix it. You know, one of the reasons why I was unable to move here is that I'm sure some of you joined me when I inspected both the office and the lodge, and they are in terrible states of disrepair. Some of them were vandalized, looted, so it's going to cost a lot of money. And I thought at that time that it was more important to devote that same money to those things that are considered emergency. But we will definitely do what has to be done to make this place livable, not just for the current governor, but for future governors. Udaja asked a question about autonomy. The way government works, there is separation of powers, but then there is also something as collaboration. Autonomy, if you stretch it, it may also mean that all the arms of government should generate their own resources. But there is an arm of government which is the executive. What does executive mean? Executive means executing. That part of government that executes. And that is what we are doing. The legislators make laws. Judiciary interprets, and of course, the rest of the things that go with it. In terms of executing governance and government, it is the responsibility of the executive. So when some people are talking of this autonomy, they misrepresent it and they equate it with independence. Autonomy doesn't mean independence. And the way it happens here is also the way it happens in the center. The budget that is presented by the executive is supposed to take care of running the entire government. But then the issue of who executes still resides with the executive. I don't know if I've answered your question, Udaja. So, having said that, I can also, as the governor, decide to buy cars and give my House of Assembly members, except if you believe I don't have such powers. But the last time I checked, I believe I have such powers. So I would like to turn it back to the moderators to take the next set of questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Remember, it's a no holds bar conversation with the governor, and this interaction is aired live right now on BCA 88.1 FM, Flow 94.9 FM, Family Love 99.9 FM, Magic 102.9 FM, Vision Africa 104.1 FM, Real FM 99.1 FM, and Sun FM 91.3, Igbere.
Also on Sun FM 91.9, Aba, Zik 96.3 FM, Spin 95.3 FM, Rapid 96.5 FM, Pace Sata 103.5 FM, Boss 89.7 FM, and also we are streaming live on major online platforms.
Yes, when the time is right, we'll move straight to the SMS. But for now, it's time for us to go to online. So, who goes first? Online.
PU.
Who goes first? Online. Please, let's see your hands. We can't see from here. Okay, Chairman, go ahead.
Good evening, Your Excellency, and good evening, dear colleagues. My name is Promise Osoma Okoro, PU. See, before I ask my question, I want to remark on behalf of my colleagues, following the unfortunate incident over the departure of a member of the Executive Council of Abia State, Honorable Commissioner for Labor and Productivity. We commiserate with the government and the people of Abia State. This kind of platform, it will not be normal if we don't show concern.
because we are also partner in progress for the development of Abia State. So on behalf of my colleagues, if I take your mind, we commiserate with the governor. Thank you so much. Your Excellency, one of the prime functions of the press is to see something and say something. And I agree with Chief Ibe that you are doing so well. Journalism is not opposition. And so when a government is doing well, if you say the government is doing well, it is part of the principles of journalism. When you see something, you say something. That is what communication scholars call surveillance in mass communication. My question, Your Excellency, this evening is directed towards the transportation sector. Your Excellency, Abians will want to know the plan of your administration to address the issue of a incessant hike in transportation fares. Your Excellency, in transportation fare, yes sir. Transport fare, yes, transport fare. Your Excellency, it appears that in our state, whatever goes up in that sector doesn't come down again. On a practical issue, Your Excellency, because there's no week I do not travel out of Abia, most of these motor or transport operators increased this fare since December, owing to the Christmas and New Year celebration. Your Excellency, it will interest you to know that since December till now, they have refused to reduce the fares, despite the fact that the fuel has reduced. Your Excellency, the man inside China going to Aba does not know the whatever.
2 minutes, so 2 minutes. So
okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
They know that because when you ask them, they will say it's Alex Otti that increased it. So, Your Excellency, since you are the chief executive, what plans do you have?
Thank you,
to
thank
restore
you,
public
Chairman,
very
Chairman
much.
Ompan. Thank you so much. Who's next? Online. Who's next? Okay.
Please, if you have any question to put up, do
Okay.
well to identify yourself.
Okay, good evening, Your Excellency. My name is Nneka Toti. I write for News Leverage. Mine is to draw your attention to the plight of women plying Isigate. There is a mentally unstable man that stays there. He specializes in groping females whenever you pass there, especially if you're walking alone. Please, I will just want to plead that the man should be evacuated from there. Thank you.
All right, final question from an online practitioners, please. Final question. Online.
Okay, please identify yourself.
Good evening, Your Excellency. My name is Kingsley Alozie. I write for Candid Reporters. Your Excellency, my question is on education. Recently, we got the information, I also saw the memo from Abia State University stating that the Law Department and the Department of Agriculture should relocate. These have raised concern, especially that of the Department of Agriculture. Because the Umuahia campus have large space of land in terms of practical for that department. So, Your Excellency, what is the reason why Department of Agriculture is added to move to the main campus at Oturu?
Thank you. Over to you, Your Excellency.
All right, thank you very much. Promise, hike in transport fare. And I agree with you, a lot of times when prices go up, in economics, it says that prices are flexible upwards, but sticky downwards. So it's what you deal with once you have. But the way to deal with it is to have more people to get into the transport business and crash the price or the fares. Government is also thinking and working on something. But it's still early days. So it is when we are ready to roll out. that we would disclose it, but it's going to bring down transport fare considerably, and also make transportation within the state at least much easier for and available. But having said that, I will also let the Commissioner for Transport wade into it and let us see if there's anything we can do about it. But don't also forget that when a matter like this, which is in the hands of the private sector, is brought up, government can only manage moral suasion, because we cannot force owners of vehicles and fix prices for them. Fixing of prices does not exist in a free economy. So we would look into that. And by the way, thank you very much for your positive comments about what the government is doing. Women in Eastgate and a mentally unstable person. Okay, I've taken note of that, and the general manager of Umuahia Capital Development Authority is here, and I'm sure he has taken note. We need to first of all be sure that the man is mentally unstable, because a lot of people who you see walk the streets, it may just be something that is dealing with them and not mental instability. Okay, so maybe if you give the man bread, his senses will return. That's a joke, but we'll look at it. UCDA, please. Relocation of the agric, and that's Kingsley Alozie, of the agric and law faculties to Uturu is a decision that was taken after a process. The government set up a visitation panel which took months and sent in a report based on verifiable data. And the government looked at it and accepted that part of the report and issued a white paper. And the white paper is available for you to study so that you know why government took that decision. But suffice it to say that we believe that Uturu has all the resources, including the land that you talked about, much more land than you find in Umuahia for agriculture. And what we want to do is to have the university function as a university, not a multi-campus university. Okay, when there are facilities in the Uturu, which is the main campus. So that decision was a well-studied and well-intentioned decision. But if you want to read a little bit more, you can consult that white paper. The new thing that has happened is that we found that the Uturu, the buildings are not very ready. So we have allowed them to remain where they are until, I believe, sometime in June, when we will be ready with all the buildings that will receive them, particularly hostels. All right? Thank you very much.
Let's now take questions from those operating from the radio wing. Please, radio. All right, let's take the man from Vision Africa, please.
Good evening, Your Excellency. My name is Felix Obane of Sun FM, Aba. My question is on what plans do you have for public water to run again in Umuahia and other major parts of the state? I also want to use this opportunity to express the happiness of residents of Holy Ghost to Ayupu for reconstructing the road. Last time, September last year, where I presented the road to you and you promised to do something, and something has been done, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right, my sincere apologies, Felix Obane. I misrepresented your platform. Please, we are expected to ask just one question. The next person from radio. We've taken question from Sun FM already, right? All right, please, let's give it to Sonny down here.
Okay, all right.
This man, please. Imeremba, we'll be coming to you shortly. Please, let this man ask the question.
Thank you very much. We are independent. The son Abba, the son Ibere. So you must know that.
Son is son.
We're independent. That's 91.9. This is 91.3.
Just go ahead.
Thank you very much.
All right.
All right. All right, Your Excellency, please. I am in 2021. Some members of
You start with your name, please.
My name is Talimba from Son of 91.3 Berry. Sorry. Okay. A number of some members of staff from Abia State Polytechnic, now Oboneano Polytechnic, were disengaged in 2021. But during the combined convocation ceremony, you assured them that their arrears would be paid. You've maintained that. I talked with some of them, and they said those who are working with the school right now are receiving that arrears, but those who were disengaged are yet to get it. And they were pleading if you can assist them to ensure they get it. So what's your plan towards that? And if you permit me also, Your Excellency, don't be bewildered. Where you have Okpara Square, I passed there 2 days ago. The pungent smell coming from that valley, it's extremely pungent. I think something needs to be done to that particular valley. A lot of what the outdoor coming there is so pungent.
Thank you. Who's next?
Please, let's try as much as possible not to break our protocol. One question, please. Imeremba.
A very good evening to you, Your Excellency. I am Imeremba. I write for Rio 99.1 FM Aba. My question is on agriculture, sir. We are into the farming season. The farmers in our communities need help. And my question is, are there plans in terms of interest-free loans for them, subsidizing fertilizers and other implements? Thank you very much, Your Excellency.
Thank you so much. Back to you, Your Excellency, please.
All right, thank you very much. Felix Okpabi talked about public water supply. Yes, we have actually started working on the original lines that existed both in Aba and Umuahia. Work has started, and I'm sure that before the end of this year, you will see the results. And I want to thank you for your very kind comments. Stanley, your question is about disengaged staff at Ogbonnaya Polytechnic. I've also got that feedback, and I had directed that the rector should start the process of verifying those disengaged staff, because we do not have all the records. And some people, those ones that we have verified have been paid. But then there are a lot of them. Somebody sent me a message from the UK, and I forwarded it to the rector, and I'm sure if he's able to verify him, payment will be made. We still continue to pay the arrears that we inherited. And I think we've, out of the 34 months arrears that were inherited in that place, we've taken off 18 months, and we have just a few more to go. In the next few months, we would have completed the arrears, and that comes on the 28th of every month together with their current salaries. That was the question you asked. You tried to ask a second question, which you were ruled off point. Okay, information. I'm sure the UCDA GM is talking about a place that stinks. So you find out why that is happening. Remember your question on help for farmers. It's a good question, and we've been pondering over it. It is going to be a social intervention, and we are looking at it. But the more fundamental point is that if we have to guarantee food security, we need to go beyond social intervention and deal with agriculture as a business. And that is where my interest lies, so that we'll be able to move away from subsistence farming to commercial farming. And that's what we're working on. But in terms of providing interest-free loans, we've been doing that, and we'll continue to do that. But the reality is that there's only so much you can do. By the time you deal with farmers in one local government and move to another local government, before you know it, you haven't even scratched the surface, but you would have spent billions. So is that the best way to deploy these scarce resources? I don't know. But it's a continuous engagement with the Honorable Commissioner for Agriculture, even as recently as yesterday. We are still brainstorming on how best we can deploy our scarce resources to get the best outcomes. So the jury is still out, and I cannot say we have concluded on anything yet. Thank you very much.
Now move straight to the TV. So who's first? Emma? Go ahead, please.
That's Emmanuel Wazwe.
Good evening, Your Excellency. My name is Emmanuel Wazwe. I report for Afia TV. Your Excellency, in 2024 fiscal performance ranking done by the budget, Abia State ranked 17, just after Kebbi State at number 16. Interestingly, Rivers State came first. And I'd like to know what happened, and if this is, with these, what are we looking out for in 2025, being a financial expert? Thank you, Your Excellency.
Thank you, Emmanuel. Up next.
Sorry, some clarification. What exactly was budget?
Okay,
ranking?
budget.
What was it measuring?
Okay. Budget was measuring its fiscal performance.
Fiscal sustainability.
Yes.
Yeah. So you need to drill it down, because fiscal sustainability, I'll answer you anyway, but then, I don't want there to be confusion in the question.
Yes, it's a general performance ranking.
No, if you read that budget very well, it measured so many things. So, but the particular where Abia came 17th is fiscal sustainability. I'll respond to it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
So who's next?
We've seen both News Central and Rapid Television.
So let's go for News
Rapid.
Central.
Okay, News Central.
News Central first.
Good evening, Your Excellency. My name is Nachi Chinoso, representing News Central TV. Your Excellency, I want to call your attention to the activities of house and land agents in Omahia and Aba. If, as an average salary earner in Omahia, if you are looking for a house, the way the agents behave, they behave as mini God, that you cannot get house without them. Some go as far as, for example, if a landlord says my house is 100,000, some go as far as dictating to the landlord how much he or she will rent the house. I believe I saw what the ministry did with the scavengers. If the Minister of Land and Housing can do the same with house and land agents, register them, accredit them, and monitor the activities, we'll be very happy, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, News Central. Up next is Rapid TV. Go ahead.
Good evening, Your Excellency. My name is Kinsley Onwuka. I report for Rapid. My question based on health. This year and last year, we have seen some trainings for teachers in the education sector. Because I know last year, I joined the national response team that was deployed to Abia State during the cholera outbreak. And the thing we observed was that the medical personnel in the rural area, they need training because they are not used to the SOMAS equipment that was given to them by NCDC. So my question to you this evening, sir, is what we have seen in the education sector, can we also do such training for health practitioners, especially in the rural area? Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Back to Your Excellency to respond to the questions. Thank you, sir.
All right, so let me start with the last question by Onwuka. Training for healthcare professionals. Yes, it is a major part of our agenda in healthcare. We have started, but then you may not see results right now because even where the practitioners would work, we need to upgrade them so that we have a robust plan to ensure not just one-off training, but continuous training and skilling for our healthcare professionals. The question on agents, land agents in Umuahia is interesting. You know what? That shows you that something is happening. I've also had people complain that houses keep shooting through the roof. And you know, the law of demand and supply will always hold. When supply outstrips demand, prices will go down. And when demand outstrips supply, the opposite will happen. And then there is also a consequential action, which is that when the opposite happens, people will quickly begin to build houses, and an equilibrium level would be attained within a period of time. So is it possible for government to now call agents and begin to monitor them? I don't think so. Because at the end of the day, you will also be going back to that price fixing. And in an economy that is not socialist or communist, you are not going to be able to fix prices. But is there anything that can be done? Maybe. Maybe by regulating them, having them registered, you are able to eliminate those that are fake. But then eliminating those that are fake doesn't also mean that those that are genuine will not do exactly what you wanted to avoid in the first place. So I think the solution to it is for our investors and those who are interested in real estate to begin to, and it's happening. I see a lot of new developments. People call me, oh, we are trying to build here, we need a road, we didn't know more here. And that's how the city grows. Then Emmanuel Wazwe, the issue of fiscal sustainability speaks to your ability to fund your recurrent expenditure from income generated internally. So your taxes, your tariffs, and all that stuff. So if you are not able to raise enough taxes, you will always be at the lower rungs of the pyramid. So what you do is to check where we were in 2023, check where we were in 2022, and then see where we will be in 2025. So I really don't spend too much time looking at those numbers, even though they are important. But they are outcomes of activities that have been done. For instance, if you train your teachers well, and you employ good teachers, and you ensure that proper learning takes place in your schools, the outcome will be that your students will pass well. So if you focus on the rating of your students when you have not done the fundamental thing, like we are doing now, the numbers may not change. So for us, the outcome is more important. And in any case, by the time these numbers come out, it's medicine after death. We are talking of what happened in 2024. We are in 2025. We are moving on. And we know exactly the outcomes we want to see. So I don't want you to lose sleep over fiscal sustainability. If you also followed our budget this year, you agree with me that we have an aggressive budget for internally generated revenue. And we have put our feet on the throttle. And we are certain that we will hit our target. Having said that, I believe that is the end. Are there more questions?
Just take questions from SMS.
From the SMS. Remember, there are millions of Abians at home listening too, so they too want to contribute. So, Moses, you go with the question.
To also remind our listener out there, while sending in your question, please do well to manage the space by making it one question, please. The number is 0907 462 1067. Let me take that again. It's 0907 462 1067.
Okay, now the first question we have here is coming from Mr. Kelechi Prosper Oba. He's texting from Aro, Ajatakiri in Ikwano local government area. He says, Your Excellency, having seen the ongoing road projects scattered in all local governments in Abia, permit me, sir, to address you as Mr. Projects. I humbly want to remind you on behalf of our dear community, Aro, Ajatakiri, to appeal, remind you, sir, on your promise to our community for the 4-kilometer road construction of Aro, Ajatakiri. Please go with the next question.
Right, this one is from Mr. Johnson Chidiuche. We, the members of the Cocoa Association of Nigeria, CAN, Abia State chapter, are complaining of undue exploitation of our members by the cocoa monitoring team in the state attached to the office of the deputy. The activities of team can lead to loss of revenue to the state, as some of our buyers are already threatening to start buying from our neighboring states. Kindly use your good office to correct this anomaly, Your Excellency, sir.
Okay, this one is coming from someone. He says, Your Excellency, I want to start by thanking you for the regular payment. He didn't say his name, but he didn't say anonymous. Your Excellency, I want to start by thanking you for the regular payment of monthly pension. My investigation shows that pensioners are happy and grateful for this. In the same vein, Your Excellency, my investigation shows that many pensioners, especially local government pensioners, are not paid at the same time with their state pensioners' counterparts. Many of them are paid 1 week or two after their counterparts. This has obtained for many months. For February 2025, pensions, many pensioners, whether state or local government, in the following banks are yet to be paid. He mentioned Union Bank, Echo Bank, First Bank, UBA, Stanbic, IBTC, Access Bank, FCMB, Fidelity Bank, etc. He says, Your Excellency, what efforts can your administration make to ensure that monthly pension is paid to all pensioners at the same time?
Your Excellency, sir, your activities in the state speak volumes of one sent by God. This is from Prince Raf Ibokwe. Your activities in the state speak volumes of one sent by God to deliver Abia. And my prayer is and remains that God preserves to the end. Please, sir, what are your plans to rehabilitate the moribund Ulonna North Farm Settlement? The major road to the settlement from the major land donor community, Umo Biala, is impassable, and as the communities here find it very difficult to relate with their neighboring communities from Ude Ofeme, Mpa, and Umaya, the state capital.
Okay, this one is coming from P.S. Uzoma Isiapo. He says, please help ask the governor why his approval for the payment of the retirement entitlements of permanent secretaries retired October 31st, 2023 has not been effected. That means translated to cash. And this one too. Okay, he says he wants to know why your approval, sir, for the payments of the retirement entitlements of permanent secretaries retired October 31st, 2023 has not been effected. That means translated to cash. And this one too comes from Mr. Johnson Chidi Uche. Okay, you've taken that one, Moses.
All right.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
All right. Kelechi, thank you for renaming me. Okay, the 4-kilometer route, Aro Ajatakri, I think we have it in the budget this year, right, Honorable Commissioner? I think so. So it will be done at the appropriate time. Johnson Chidi Uche talked about the cocoa monitoring team under the Deputy Governor's office. I've taken note of this, and I'm going to take it up with the Deputy Governor to understand what is happening there. We have zero tolerance for extortion, and we will not accept it. So thank you, Johnson, for bringing this up. The third person didn't include his name, thanking us for regular payment of pensioners, but wondering why there's always a delay in the payment of local government pensioners. This is news to me, because at the same time we sign off on the payment to state pensioners, we also sign off on the payment to local government pensioners. So I somebody should please take this up with the Accountant General and Head of Service. I need to know, get a feedback on this. Prince Raf Ibukwe, thank you for your kind words. We are looking at not just the Olonna farm settlement, but the other settlements and plantations scattered in the street, in the state, and we are working. Some of them we already have signed MOUs with investors because we still believe that a partnership with private investors on a PPP basis is what works. So very soon you will see activity in that. Ozoma, PS Ozoma, payment of PAMSEX who were retired in 2023. I'm surprised that this is still outstanding and given instruction that it's be taken off. So please, can somebody find out from the head of service why that is still outstanding and ensure that the payments are made, please? I guess that's about it.
Okay, thank you, Your Excellency, for your time with the press this evening. I'm very sure Abians listening from their homes are appreciative of this initiative of yours. Thank you, sir. So distinguished colleagues, it's about time we call it a wrap on the program this evening. Thank you so much for your coordination. I am my co-anchor. Do appreciate. Thank you. Vivian Chima is my name.
And I am Moses Ben. Thank you so much.
Thank you to all the partnering stations too. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. That is where we draw the curtain on this edition of Governor Alex Otti Speaks to Abians. May I once again yield the microphone to His Excellency for his closing remarks. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Abians, both here and those joining us remotely. Like we always do, we present ourselves to you to ask your questions. And questions are not censored. People can ask whatever they need clarifications on. And we are also not claiming to know everything. Anyone we don't know, we say we don't know, we will find out. And that is this administration. Now, I'd like to thank the media men who have been here in the last 2 hours. Thank you for a great job. I want to thank the anchors for a fantastic job of coordinating and ensuring that things move smoothly. I want to thank members of ISCO and other colleagues that joined us here this evening. And my prayer is that as you go back, that God will take you back to your destinations safely. Thank you, and God bless you.
The national anthem, please.
Oziri obodo Chukwu ga-abịa bụ obodo ahịa na ọrụ aka steeti mbụ ekele anyị ga-arụsi ọrụ ike Igbo ndị mbụ Abịa ga-adị ugwu ebe bere ugo bere Igwe bụ ike Chukwu gọzie Abịa